Whether it's out of negligence, whether it's a planned attack, we want to know who is responsible and who killed our people and destructed our city. The life force behind this project, the memorialization project, is twofold. On one hand, we wanted to eternalize the memory of those who fell to the explosion and appease the pain of the families of the victims by having their loved ones remembered. On the other hand, we wanted to use this memory as a motive to pursue accountability and the justice process so that no perpetrator could sleep at night knowing what they did. I would like to start by thanking Peace Boat, especially Rika and Rico, for making this event happen and for introducing us to Mr. Aweda Koji, who wrote a very heartwarming and touching foreword of our book. I would also like to thank Shalima Arsenno for being with us and who will be speaking as someone who lost her loved one, Ayman Suleiman, and also who will be speaking as a survivor of the explosion. So last but not least, my colleague Tony from the Socio-Economic Justice Initiative MAAN, who will be reading a very touching story from the memorialization book, Living Ashes.
The sound of a printer, a list of names, crossed out, bleeding, wailing sounds, death, horror, human massacre, blood. These words do not describe a shattered Beirut after the explosion of August 4, 2020. They were written a day ahead. Jacques wrote these words on Monday and left a paper on his desk. He took his wife Bernadette and his kids, Michelle, aged 7, and Rita, aged 4, in his arms. He told his wife, "You are strong, I can count on you." A fire erupted, followed by the first explosion. Jacques asked his family members to lie face down on the ground. The second explosion destroyed their building, but everyone miraculously survived. It looked like Jacques had a minor injury to the head until he felt dizzy. He was evacuated to Hotel Dieu Hospital and needed a blood transfusion. He passed away 2 hours later, suffering from internal hemorrhage.
I was in the car with 2 of my other friends, and people today claim that they have seen an orange cloud. I didn't actually. What I saw was like a sandstorm and a white fog. It was a minute of silence until I realized that we had to go to the hospital. Despite my injured face and lack of hearing, I called my husband. He was the first one I wanted to call. I wanted to make sure my daughters and him are fine. Not until I arrived at the hospital, I was able to receive a call from my parents saying they are fine and the girls are fine too, but asking me about my husband, Ayman. Little did I realize that the last conversation between us was him telling me he'll be late in his office that day, which is facing the port. I was unsure which pain is worse, the glass on my face and body, the scene in the ER, or the shock of what happened. I still have glass shards growing out of my skin, but the wound is deep. It's deep, it reaches into my heart.
And I can easily imagine how hard it was, and it has been for you to go through this experience. And I can't really listen to you without sharing tears on my face. I am working for Peace Boat. This is one of the international NGOs in Japan, started in Japan. So which is pretty rare because there are a lot of international NGOs all over the world, which started in the US or UK or European countries. But Peace Boat started by 4 university students in Tokyo, in Japan. Are organizing global voyages 3 times a year. And each voyage, we have 1,000 passengers. And we are traveling together with those passengers to visit a lot of ports and countries together. And not only conveying the Hibakusha from Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but we think it's really, really important to create occasions to communicate with a global Hibakusha. Global Hibakusha meaning those who were impacted by nuclear testing uranium mining, and other nuclear developments around the world, like Australia, French Polynesia, Marshall Islands, Fukushima, and Kazakhstan.
Bomb was dropped in 76 years ago. However, something what happened in Beirut to lose the innocent people's soul, that's something should not happen. 3 characteristics of an atomic bomb: heat, blast, and radiation. Heat is 1 second after the explosion, approximately 30 meters in diameter fireball was created, and the surface temperature reached 7,000 to 8,000 degrees Celsius. And the temperature at the hypocenter at the ground level reached 3,000 to 4,000 degrees. By the way, the surface of the sun is 6,000 degrees Celsius. I'll give you an example. If a wife is pregnant and if you before give the birth to the baby, can you tell them that then the baby may have a problem because he was exposed to the radiation? Can you tell them? I don't think you can. So no one can do that. So this is a kind of thing that Hibakusha is suffering for.
Commemorate the deaths and the victims of the occupation of Nazi Germany in the Second World War. We continue to do so for the past 76 years. And I think the past years, they also continue because the people who actually experienced this life are nearing the end of their life. So there's the past years this question is coming up: should we continue to commemorate what is happening? And I believe I'm very touched by both a story from a recent devastating event in Beirut and the one in Hiroshima from 76 years ago, because for me it shows us how important it is and how essential to keep talking about these things also for new generations. And I think I'm very happy with initiatives like Peace Boat who are spreading that and who are making the connections. And thanks a lot for MAAN and for Sarah and for Tony, who are facilitating this connection. I believe it's very extremely valuable. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Pim, for joining us. And actually, thank you for Parks to linking us with Peace Boat.
Speed of sound was 340 meters per second. In less than 10 seconds, the fierce blast destroyed the city of Hiroshima within a radius of 4 kilometers. So after a night had passed, the heat attracted maggots to survivors' wounds. All that could be done for these people, growling it hurts, was to remove the maggots with chopsticks, because there were neither doctors nor any medicine. Hiroshima lies on a delta formed by 7 rivers. Hibakusha who were burned all over their bodies arrived at these rivers in search for water, but many ran out of energy and died one after the other. I heard that the piled up bodies could be seen floating on the river's surface.
I think we all knew about this horrific attack. However, as it said, the devil is in the details. I'm deeply sorry to hear that you had to go through this. No one should go through this suffering. And sadly, your memories and your words brought us back to the 4th of August event. We all wish you strength and hope, Mr. Weda.